Hello and welcome back to the arena. We here at Stronghold feel very strongly about the Brawl and Commander formats, and that is what we are going to be talking about just about every Sunday of this budget year. So welcome not only to Arena, not only to the Stronghold, but to the very first installment of a little series I believe I'm going to call Budget Brawl. So if you caught some of our recent content back in early August, we talked about a mono green deck for a singleton event, and we talked about how Ashaya or Toski, I don't know if I'm saying that right now that I've said it out loud, but that's what I'm going to go with is Toski because, well, he looks Russian to me. At any rate, we talked about how those two cards could easily be commanders, turning those singleton decks into brawl decks. So as you can see here, we've got a list going on of all the new player experience legendary commanders that we got, and week by week I'm going to be eliminating the cards that we have talked about. Now today we are going to be talking about a white-black, and we only got one commander in our new player experience which covers that, and that's our boy Berwyn. Now unfortunately Berwyn is built all around the venture/dungeon mechanics, and the question then is there enough venture in our new player experience or in standard 2020 at large to support a 60 card brawl deck? Because keep in mind, in Brawl you can only have one copy of each card, and as I'm sure you figured out, the answer is no, there's not enough. So we are going to be eliminating Berwyn at this time. If we get more sets or more things with venture, that might be something we look at, maybe even in historic, depending upon how our upcoming Jumpstart Historic event plays out. We shall see how that goes. But for the time being here, we are going to look at our commanders, and the one I have in mind, of course, is not jumping out at me. Where is our pal? Here we go. Firja. Yes. I say it the way Austin Powers does a Dutch accent. Freaky. Anyway, sorry for all my friends out there who that is really the way they speak. I'm not actually making fun of you. I'm just enjoying life with you. But Firja is going to be our commander this week. And without further ado, let's take a look and see what we can do with that. But before we get into all that, let me take this opportunity to invite you to subscribe to the channel. See, back in January of this year, I set a goal of having 100 subscribers before the end of the year. And boy, have we come a long way since that time. And while I may be doing a lot of the work, I can't do it without you. You see, this isn't one of those huge YouTube channels that gains or loses 1,000 subs in a day and hardly notices. Around here, you matter. Just like all these folks here matter. See, thus far, we've got up to 81 subs out of our goal of 100. And while I know they're not all listed here, these are the folks that have answered the call and made their subscription to the channel public information. And I want to take this opportunity to not only invite you to join the community if you have not done so already, but thank all of these fine folks, because around here, my audience matters. It's what shapes the channel. It's what I drive for. And one last thing, I'd like to do something cool when we do hit that goal of 100 subscribers. Problem is, I don't really know what to do and have very few ideas. So if you have a moment and you have a thought, comment it down below on what you think we should do to celebrate our goal of 100 subscribers being reached. Now, what were we talking about? Oh, right. So I did a little bit of work off camera for you, and what you are now looking at is a merge list of all of the black-white new player experience cards from your very earliest collection. And what I have done here is converted it into a Brawl deck, leading Firja as our commander, and I have gone through and eliminated all the dual copies, as well as anything that was dependent or built around the venture mechanic, or the white life gain matters cards. Frankly, mono white life gain is going to be a deck we talk a whole lot about, and I really didn't want this to end up being another white life gain matters deck. So I went ahead and cut all of those cards, I think, and we'll go through these cards because, as you can see, we've still got a lot of work to do. We probably need to cut somewhere in the magnitude of 25 to 30 cards here, because as you can see, I've only got 2 lands in this deck right now as it sits. I also took the liberty of cutting anything that was overly vanilla or really off on its cost curve, because it was part of the monochromatic new player experience decks that are designed to be much more basic. What we're going to do now is kind of start here at the top end and look at these cards and start making some trims here. And what I'm looking at or looking for on a very top end card is a card that is going to win me the game pretty much by putting it into play. Angelic Guardian has the potential of doing that. Inspiring Commander is a card draw and life gain engine, so it does not win me the game in and of itself. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that out. Excuse me. Shepherd of the Cosmos is a 3/3 flyer, and when it comes into the battlefield, it has a rebirth effect. So again, on its own, not winning me the game. Same with Bad Deal. I always think this card is very well named. It's just not great. Goring Ceratops. When it attacks other creatures you control, gain double strike. Okay, so that could win me the game. Black Dragon is probably not going to win me the game right out. Demon of Loathing. Which of these two do I like better? The Goring Ceratops, that gives everything double strike when it attacks, or Demon of Loathing, that forces them to sack a creature. Excuse me. I just can't seem to get the frog out of my throat. Or maybe it's a Demon of Loathing. Yep, that's right. I'm going to go ahead and cut that card. So that cut us a few down there, and I'd like to do the same here with this stack. Journey to Oblivion. It's built on the party mechanic. I'm not sure how well we are built around party mechanic. So we've got some clerics. We have some warriors and a wizard. And what is the other? Rogue. Rogue is the other one, and there are no rogues. So I'm not feeling real good about party mechanic here, and that's pretty overcosted removal. That has a regrowth effect and a 2/2 for 5 flying. Not great. I think we're gonna pass that up. Doomscar is pretty nice. Not cutting that right away. When Incaster enters the battlefield, put a +1 plus a counter. When a creature you control attacks, each opponent loses 1 life. Okay, so I do kind of like that for a 5. Drana. Return that creature to the battlefield with additional +1 counter. Defending player chooses a non-legendary creature in your graveyard. Okay, so that's a lot of regrowth. I am kind of liking that. Singular Vampire is probably a little overcosted. This works much better in a mono black deck because for 5 mana I really want to be doing a lot of damage with this. So I think it gets dropped here. Westgate Region is pretty darn awesome, and so is Closing Statement. So that drops us about 10 cards there. I think 9 in actuality. So let's move on here to this next column here and kind of do the same thing. Another creature. So we do have some clerics, but I'm not feeling like this is going to end up being a cleric tribal deck. Felidar Retreat is just really good, as is Halvar. Icingdeath, it's pretty hard to argue dropping a mythic there. Baleful Mastery. An opponent draws a card, exile target creature or planeswalker. That is pretty good removal. Skull Raid, I am not feeling that particular card yet. Let's see, Spellbinder is absolutely wonderful. Expel is a little situational but not bad. Iron Verdict is great. Maul is great. Minimus Containment. I don't think that is great removal in a deck running black, so I'm going to go ahead and cut that. Valkyrie, I feel like this is a life gain card. I'm going to go ahead and cut that. Callous Blood Mage, Pests, draw a card. Yeah, that's just good utility. Hagra is a nice 2/2 for 3 with Menace. It's not terrible. It's a good way of giving the rest of my creatures Menace. That's not bad. That's pretty good. Very good. I think that's something we cut. Likewise, I think Murder is something we cut here because of the double black. I think Poisonous Cup is a much better spell and more versatile because of the Foretell. Let's move on here. Warrior, great utility. I'm not loving Fencing Ace. Knight's Pledge, I can probably do better than that. This is pretty good. We do have some decent equipment in this deck. Aspirant is awesome. Inquisitor, gaining first strike for 3. An onboard combat trick. I'm going to say no. Rune of Sustenance is probably pretty good as a one-of. Orator is just great because it gets better with all my other cards. Cruel Cut, decent removal. Berserker replaces itself. Demonic Gifts, pretty nice. Discard, let's see, Flunk. Yeah, Flunk isn't bad. Malakir, I'm just going to go ahead and call that a life gain effect and move on. Null Priest, it's not bad. Power Word Kill. I honestly think I have better removal in this deck than Power Word Kill. Thieves' Tools, pretty good. Unlikely Aid, not bad. Vanishing, not bad at all. Kitesail Cleric does give me something late game that I can kick. Portable Hole is decent removal. If it's Warrior, attach equipment. I think we said we did not have much in the way of Warriors, so I'm just going to go ahead and kick that out. I'm not feeling that. Tactical Advantage, kind of weak. Raised Dead is not great. I have similar effects. Skeleton is kind of weak. Shambling Gas can be good. Typhoid Rats is good. You may draw a card. Energy from the Great. Exile it. You may draw a card and lose 1 life. I am not really overly feeling that. So there we go. Okay, so that's a pretty good pass there. We probably still need to cut some cards here, but in the meantime, I am going to click the auto suggest land tool here, and it's got me pretty evenly distributed. So we're back to needing to cut 12 cards. And really, I think most of it is going to need to come from this 2 and 3 drop section. Let's see here, and so a 2/1, and it replaces itself. I'm going to say no to that. Dancing Sword is an equipment, pretty nice. Cleric is good utility. He just gets better, gets better. Do I cut Pacifism? Do I have enough removal in this deck to consider cutting Pacifism? I'm going to say yes. Rune of Sustenance, we're going to say yes. I'm going to go ahead and cut Doomscar, even though that's over here in the upper spells, because I think this is going to end up being mostly a creature-based deck, and wiping the board does not seem like a thing I'm going to want to do. Cruel Cut, pretty good. I'm going to say no to the Berserker. And I'm going to say no to the Disciple, because the discard is just not that great. I'm going to call this a life gain spell and cut it. Flunk is not bad. Malakir, not bad. Blood Priest. Thieves' Tools. I'm going to say no. Unlikely Aid. We'll come back to that. Iron Verdict is good. Maul. Constrictor is out. Dusk Mage also out. Okay, Retreat with Landfall is pretty good. Create, yeah, I think I cut that. Gelatinous Cube is pretty good. I need to cut one. Let's see here. Let's take a look at our land. Alright, so it is... excusez-moi. Let's see here. So I need to cut one. I think I'm going to cut a land here. Let's take a look and see what our mana mix is looking like. It is mostly black. So with that in mind, I am going to cut a Plains. And there we go, guys. 60 cards achieved. And I think this is a very decent Brawl deck here to start off with. And if I had the cards, I would say let's go ahead and take it for a spin. Most of my Brawl content will include a match, but as you can see, these decks at this point are built on the new player experience, which at the time of recording I have not received yet. So not able to take this deck for a spin at this particular moment. Oh, so there was a couple things that I meant to talk about. One was including the card Evolving Wilds that lets you basically search up, in this case, either a swamp or an island, which will come into play tapped. That basically just allows you to thin your deck and have one more non-basic land in your deck. The other thing I want to take a look at here is cards with the word Commander. Why? Oh, I have that restricted. Haha, just kidding. Alright, 27th time is the charm, guys. So the cards Command Tower and Arcane Signet. These are both going to be recommended wild cards for this year. The reason being, these are really awesome in multicolor commander decks. And Arena, the folks at Wizards, has said that they are going to keep these legal in standard Brawl, that they will not rotate. So I find that interesting. I'm not sure I entirely believe it yet, but even if you can only use these in Historic Brawl, it's going to be very worthwhile. But I will be adding both of these to the deck list that we talked about today, and in total I'll be dropping 1 Plains and 2 Swamps from the list.
And with all that having been said, please take this opportunity to like, comment, and subscribe. It is the budget way to support this budget channel because it doesn't cost you a thing. Do it for Graham. Do it for the algorithm. Do it for the iced coffee. And until next time, I'll see you in the arena.